Dear men, this is an email that I sent to my men that includes Brent Spiner, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, um, Hugh Jackman, Judge Terrence Jenkins, ex-Jesuit leader Zach Knight, Brent Spiner, Gerard Butler. Dear men, these are the men on my marriage list. They're in the top 10. Maybe I'm crazy, but I've noticed that Jack Dorsey at Twitter has given financial support to Tulsi Gabbard. So I think there may be some hope for Twitter. I filed 2 impersonation reports off of the profile to the Brent Spiner Twitter. That's at Brent Spiner. I accidentally sent one report before I was able to make screenshots of what I said, so I sent another report. I include as screenshots what I sent them. This is to give you a heads up. If by chance they contact you via your old Twitter, Brent, which was at Brent Spiner MD, that means I may have accomplished something. And here's what I said in the report. They asked, does the impersonated individual have a Twitter account? And I said, no, they don't have a Twitter account. They did, but you took it down on Brent Spiner's birthday, February the 2nd, 2018. Their account was at Brent Spiner, MD. Brent Spiner is #1 on my marriage list, just like Matthew McConaughey is #3. And then I sent them the link to the page where I provided the evidence about the Matthew McConaughey clone. And I'll have a link to that underneath this video, where Camilla murdered Sam Shepard, and there's pretty overwhelming evidence in that video that clones exist and that Matthew McConaughey's on my marriage list. So it goes to reason, if Matthew's on my marriage list, then so must Brent Spiner be, who's at #1. I told them you should ban the Brent Spiner clone from the real Brent's Twitter, or should give back to the real Brent the account you took down, which was at Brent Spiner MD. If you do give the real Brent his Twitter back, you should also put a check mark next to his name, since the real Brent was at Brent Spiner MD. And I provided a link to my webpage that I created about Brent Spiner, the Brent Spiner clone impersonating Brent at his Twitter. And I'll have a link to that underneath this video. Also, as you can see from the video about Matthew McConaughey, these clones are enabling a conspiracy of murder. Please, Twitter, show some moral courage and stop this impersonation and murder conspiracy. And then I sent the report. So, to be honest with you, if Jack Dorsey had not given the maximum amount to Tulsi Gabbard, I wouldn't have any faith in Twitter at all, because they've been banning some pretty worthy people left and right. But he appears to be a good-hearted liberal. So I'm thinking that perhaps, I'm hoping that Jack Dorsey will listen to my video here. And Jack, I appreciate your support of Tulsi Gabbard. You seem to care about, Tulsi Gabbard's stand against unnecessary war, going into war, regime change wars. And you don't like it when people are killed in order to serve the power hungry. So it seems to me, Jack Dorsey at Twitter, that you should care that these murderous clones, and, take a look at the video that the page I created about the Camilla Alves murdering Sam Shepard, and then the Matthew McConaughey clone cooperating with her in that murder conspiracy. We have got a bunch of murderous conspirators who work for Laurie McBride, the Brent Spiner clones among them, and they're all in a conspiracy of murder and impersonation. And they're making the real celebrities suffer just because these men happen to be on my marriage list. And for some people, that's hard to believe, and they take advantage of that to go ahead and kill anybody who exposes them. And I think it's time for this murder conspiracy to stop. So Jack Dorsey at Twitter, I'm proud of you for supporting Tulsi Gabbard. I'm beginning to think you have some integrity. And I'm asking you to show that integrity by banning the Brent Spiner clone from impersonating the real Brent at Twitter. You're really enabling a bunch of murderers when you allow the Brent Spiner clone to impersonate the real Brent at Twitter. And since you care about saving life, or you wouldn't be supporting Tulsi Gabbard, I plead with you to please stop the Brent Spiner clone's impersonation of the real Brent at Twitter.